Wake up and smell the adventure with Mackenzie Empire, your passport to a world of extraordinary coffee experiences. Introducing our Brazilian blend, a masterpiece crafted from 100% Arabica coffee beans straight from the heart of Brazil. Immerse yourself in the notes of cocoa powder, caramel, and walnuts. It's not just a coffee, it's a journey to the exotic lands of flavor. For the health-conscious explorers, we present our Manuka Honey Coffee. USDA certified organic coffee, blended with raw New Zealand Manuka honey, organic cane alcohol, organic glycerin, and natural flavors. Pure indulgence that's as sweet as it is satisfying. Elevate your coffee experience with our hemp coffee, where the goodness of hemp meets the richness of coffee. Packed with high protein, omega-3, and omega-6 fatty acids, it's not just a drink, it's a nourishing ritual for your body and soul. But wait, there's more. Dive into the Mushroom Empire Fusion's Lion's Mane and Amp Chaga. A game changer that tastes like coffee but boosts your immune and hormonal systems. It's not just a beverage, it's a blend of science and flavor, designed to keep you energized and balanced. Mackenzie Empire, where every sip is an adventure and every cup tells a story. Discover the taste of excitement, the aroma of passion, and the joy of exploration. Because life is too short for ordinary coffee. Cheers to extraordinary moments. Mackenzie Empire LLC, brewing experiences, one cup at a time. Wake up.
People. Welcome back to another great episode. Now, check. Tonight's gonna be a little different, people. It's gonna be a little different. I got something to prove tonight. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. It's gonna be a great night after all, and it's definitely going great. You know what I mean? I have someone in the studio. What is there anything that you want to say?
I'm ready to hear what you have to prove.
Oh, really? Anyway, so people, this is a conversation we're gonna have today that's gonna be really, indulging. It's about my brother. You know what I mean? It's literally about my brother who is doing some time. My brother is literally, my dad was a Rolling Stone, if you want to call it that way, but but definitely, he raised some good boys. You know what I mean? Even if he wasn't there, he definitely, the people that we were around raised some good kids. Let's put it that way. And I am honored and blessed by that opportunity. But throughout our life, we go through things that may deter our futures and may, because of certain situations and certain choices we make, we tend to make some choices that may not be great for the future. But hey, we're kids, right? We're young. We're growing up through these stages in our life. And as men, sometimes we have to do a little bit more to satisfy the society norms, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes us as men, we don't have goals, so we have to set those goals. And sometimes those goals come with some choices that we make. It's not good, right? So I'm not here to say that we are innocent, but I am here to say that we can be held for redemption, right? Redemption is powerful. One of my great idols, Bob Marley, has a great song called Redemption, people. Maybe you want to go check that out. But I have some great people here today. Who's going to talk about this situation. And I think the question is, what do you do if someone calls you over to get some cash, right? They owe you some money. But then again, you go over there and one of your boys got a pistol out and he got a dead corpse in the room. You know what I mean? What do you do, right? We're here to talk about it. We're going to go more in depth on this on Saturday. But tonight we're going to just hit a little bit. I'm not going to go too more in depth, but we're going to just, tag and hit a little bit on it. I would like to present, a couple family members and an attorney, a great person who I've met over the phone. And I'm willing to hear what she has to say verbally. I have my little cousin I'd
What's
say how
going
you
on? What's going on? How y'all doing? Appreciate
doing?
everybody tapping in. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all chose to be here, so we appreciate that.
That's beautiful. Also, I would like to bring in Unc. You know what I mean? Unc is gonna come here. You know, Unc played a real big part of my brother's life. Really helped shape some things in his life, and kind of put him on a great path. How you doing? Oh, are you on mute? There you go.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
All right, that's what's up.
That's beautiful. Also, I would like to bring in the person that's taking this to the next level. The person that's bringing this to the forefront. Person that says we need some media change. We need some publicity around this. I've always wanted to do it, but I guess she really put a fire in us. You know what I mean? To really get this kicked off. One of our own. You know what I mean? Sometimes we like to think that the white guy has to step in and help us out all the time. And sometimes it doesn't have to be, people. We can go to our own and get that real credibility of things that we need to grab. So I would like to present her, Miss Tangi Cox. How are you, Miss Tangi Cox? How you doing?
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Pleasure. So let's attack the elephant in the room, as everybody would say. You know what I mean? First let's go around, just kind of get a gist of, just so people can feel comfortable introducing themselves. Miss Tangi, you could start, and then we'll go with Unc, and then we'll go with Cuzzo, at the end. But go ahead, Miss Tangi.
Okay, so first of all, it's my pleasure to be here. And I've been studying law since 2012. My major in college was political science and law. I still have not taken the bar yet, but I am a legal advocate, and I am able to legally act on his behalf as a durable power of attorney once that paperwork is finalized. So I just wanted to clear that up and make the correction just for namesake. However, I have had the pleasure of working with Mr. Davis and speaking with him. I believe that he deserves a second chance at freedom based on the fact at the age and the time of the event. And the magical question is, what would you do if it were you in that same situation? What would you have done different? The dynamics of the case pretty much points in the direction of him being railroaded, in my opinion. And we see this all the time when you have adequate legal representation. And I've seen it and witnessed it in my own family, and that's what made to the young men and women that's out there, don't be afraid and intimidated by law. This is second nature for me. I have helped family and friends personally get out of jail. Personally, we just welcomed home my uncle that was in San Quentin, and he had a life sentence, and he is now finally home. So never underestimate, the power of knowledge and wisdom, diligence. He's never had no one to, in my opinion, Mr. Davis has not had no one hold proper people accountable. The attorney, inadequate legal representation. He's never had no one advocate for him on his behalf. And so that's what's going to be happening as of right now. He's got somebody that's willing for him, that's not going to fight until he's home. And I always speak as if he's on his way home. So manifestation, I believe in the power of speaking things into existence as well, with hard work and diligence. Your brother will be home to join this podcast and with awareness. We're not standing up for our men and women that's incarcerated, letting them accept more than their fair. And even at that young, tender age at 19, he was really a baby as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Didn't know what he was doing, so when to help, I need the help navigate this into a big, literally, I want this case to be on the news, just like Miss Cynthia Brown case. I need you to spread it on your social media platform, your local synagogue, church, your preferences. I'm going to spread the news as well. I have a on my social media. And
You kind of breaking up a little bit.
And I would like to invite you to come out on my platform as well, so that my audience can also be fully aware as well. Or you can feel free to tag my YouTube and help spread the awareness as well.
Yeah, I definitely will do that ASAP. I'll definitely do that now. What's the tag of your YouTube, just so I could put it here in the chat for everyone?
Tangelica the Black Sheep. But another thing I wanted to say is our parents and our family members and our family dynamics, they have to start taking some kind of accountability as well. The absent father plays a big role in why this man didn't have no proper guidance. He didn't have no guidance at 19. He should have been in school somewhere, minding his business, following his dreams, And so with that being said, all that's going to play a role in getting him out. It really is going to play a major role. I see it happen all the time. I've seen it happen in my personal family. I've seen it happen with family and friends, and I've also have helped make it happen. Psychologically, we're going to talk about mental illness and why it's important for the judicial system not to overlook. I spoke with Mr. Davis. He gave me full consent to disclose, his mental health state. And with that being said, I don't even believe his case should have ever moved to trial based on the fact that Mr. Davis' IEP score was lower than average, and he was already deemed mentally retarded. So how can you move with a trial if I'm not legally competent? That would make no sense right there. But when you want to see the black man, because we still live in a world of racism and life isn't fair, they're going to send you to prison whether you're legally incompetent or not. So my argument is, what about the American Disability Act? How are you going to overlook the American Disability Act? So if he was deemed mentally retardation, then that means he should have went to Patton. He shouldn't even went to prison. He should have went to Patton and got mental health treatment and services instead of just being behind bars, wasting time. You're not getting the help that he needs, so they completely overlooked his mental health condition, which all of this is going to get addressed. The fact that he's been incarcerated, charged very harshly as if he was the delivery gunman. And those are all key factors that bring to their attention as to why was he not thoroughly acknowledged as disabled in his piece. So, and he's had no psychiatric treatment. So with that being said, he's been sitting there for 17, 18 years with untreated mental illness, there's home. With that alone being said, that's torture. You don't even know why you're here. So with that being said, I'm going to keep advocating and fighting for Mr. Davis. I thank you for having me. I can be long-winded sometimes when I'm passionate about something, but I've seen a lot of public pretenders not here and will talk for 10 minutes and will be gone and not care. And that's why a lot of is incarcerated away from their family and loved ones, because they didn't make the thorough effort. Well, I'm here to make the thorough effort. By any means necessary. So thank you for having me.
It is such a pleasure. We're definitely gonna talk more while you're here. Unc, how you doing, man?
What's going on, bro? How you doing? It's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, man. Definitely nice and finally to get a great face to the great name. You get what I mean? So it's definitely, my brother has talked a lot about, his uncle and how his uncle shaped certain things and kept him on certain path and kept him thinking on certain things. So, when your brother say, you just kind of already have a high respect for the person. You know what I mean? And that's something that I've always looked highly into. No cap. I'm not trying to blow smoke. Motherfuckers be like, yeah, man, you was the greatest. No, I'm being fucking facts.
I appreciate it.
So, but yeah, man, give us a little bit more, how you feel about this whole situation, and what would you do in this case?
I mean, it was an extremely unfortunate situation, and probably one of the reasons why I left California, because the judicial system there, it's more of a cookie cutter robotic system. So it doesn't look into like specifics, and they don't, can I curse on here?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. They don't give a fuck about when, why, where, who, what the fuck ever. It's just, did you do it? Were you involved in it? As of recently, I think they got rid of it, but they had those all-in laws where if somebody gets pulled over with a gun in the car, they would charge every person in that car with the same pistol.
Wow.
And it's just, the judicial system there is just so messed up. And I think that, along with a lot of other circumstances, is what led him to receive so much time. Because I look into a lot of cases, and there are people who have done the most heinous of crimes who get a fraction of the time that he's gotten, and they get possibility for parole. I was watching something the other night. This girl killed her grandparents in cold blood, confessed to the murder, all kind of stuff, and she will be eligible for parole at some point in her life. And I'm wondering how my nephew, who did not even pull the trigger, who only assisted in disposing of a body, while from my perspective at gunpoint, how did he end up in prison for all this time? Even his crimey got 50 years, So it's like, he got the shortest end of the stick when it comes to the judicial system. And
if I'm not mistaken, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, please.
Bro was telling me, he was like, yo, I don't know if it's true, but the guards was telling me that, oh boy, may be out. But we don't know, but it's allegations. I don't know. He don't really know. Maybe the guards may be fucking with him inside the prison. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows. But if so, the actual man who pulled the trigger is actually walking the streets while my bro is still sitting in something is wrong there. You get what I mean? So, but I don't know, big bro, like Brody don't know. We don't really know. We can't really pinpoint it. There's no documentation to say that this man is actually, I don't know. I haven't researched it, publicly through public research or anything like that. But, when you say they got 50 years, it made me thought about that, what bro said, you know what I mean? But go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, no, you good. I don't know the validity of that situation, but I know that judicial system, it preys upon the most vulnerable. Like in that time, when, just like she said, he was just a baby, 19 years old. He didn't know what was going on. And the fact that they took him in there and he just didn't seek legal counsel, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. That's what I preached. That's what I preached to my son. That's what I preached to any. If some detective asking you I don't care if they ask you what you have for lunch, say, I need a fucking lawyer. Like, don't answer no questions. And if he had that mindset, he probably would have moved on. But we have this inherent trust in the judicial system. Oh, if I just tell them the truth, they're gonna let me off. That's all bullshit. It never goes like that. My brother just got out from serving 18 years because he committed a crime first crime ever in his life, had never been to jail. And after he committed that crime, he walked right into the police station and turned him in and told them the entire truth. And that truth landed him a 24-year sentence, of which he just got out. He just got out. He went in 2005. He just got out last year. So I think had he had a better understanding of what the judicial system was and sought legal counsel, and he wouldn't have been in such a vulnerable position that he's in today.
So would you say, I mean, from your perspective, you know, from looking at all of this, you know, let's just kind of walk in fairy tale land before I get to everybody else. Let's walk in fairy tale land. Is what could have or what should have, if you could have been in this era at that moment, you know what I mean? Because I know me, I would have been like, yo, bro, fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to catch him on the back end type shit. I mean, but I'm sorry. I'm kind of, you know what I mean? I'm a little gutter sometimes. So I'm like, we'll get him some other time. Like, he'll get got, but we'll get him some other time. Let's pass on in a way. I mean, maybe that could have been like, that's my, you know, fairy tale world of like, I could have prevented some shit. What would you say that you could have done as watching him being birthed, and you know what I mean? And you know, it's crazy because Grandpa Davis. It's crazy because I'm looking at you and all I see is Grandpa Davis. That's all I see.
That's my dad.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy looking at you. But from your perspective, you know what I mean? What would you? How you feel? You know, let me know, please.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because at one point, this is probably a few years ago, when me and Kenny started getting into like constant contact since his incarceration. Like I told him, I was like, man, I apologize, because you know I was young then too. You know, I was in my 20s and stuff. I was on some street shit. I ain't never been to the pen, but I did some stuff that probably could have landed me in there really easy. And, you know, I had to apologize to him for not being the best role model for him, for not putting him in a position where he could succeed, you know. And he forget, like, he was like, man, it's all me. You know, I'm a grown man, you know, you can't blame yourself. But in some ways I do blame myself, you know. And, you know, we're all products of our environment, and the environment that we were in, the environment of poverty and growing up in South Central LA and Watts, like it was a horrible place to grow up. And of course you're gonna pick up on the habits of the people around you. And most of the people around us in those instances were unfavorable people. So, you know, we were not, and you know, I don't like to let people off the hook for their own personal decisions. But in this case, my nephew, he wasn't on no bullshit. In this particular instance, he was leaving work. He was leaving work, riding with somebody else. You know, he leaving work, riding with somebody else, and they chose to commit a crime that he got involved in. Now, had he been in his right mind, he probably would have stepped away from that situation and not contributed to it in any way. But his little bitty involvement, which I believe was under duress, has, you know, fucked his life up, fucked his whole life up. And you know, he's my nephew. But when he was born, I was like 7 years old. You feel me? I was like 7 years old when he was born. So he more like my brother. Like, we grew up in the house together. Like that. That's like my brother nephew basically. So you know, it's hard. He's in there, but you know, he got a whole family that love him and care about him. So we in there with him. You know, we buying packages. We trying to visit him, trying to be a support system to him. So it doesn't just affect an individual person. It affects an entire family, especially when you got a family that's riding for you, that's out there that love you. Yeah. That care about your well-being.
For the people that just tuning in, if you're, you know what I mean, wondering like, what are we talking about? I'll read quickly. You know, this is my bro. You know what I mean? My dad was great at, you know, what he did. So, but, you know what I mean? This is my bro here. And from the LA Times archives, this was reported in March 20th, 2007. Two high desert men have been arrested on suspicion of killing a Victorville male who has been missing for the past weeks, according to that time, people. Stephen Jones, 19, of Victorville, and Kenneth Davis, 19, of Philan, were arrested last weekend, according to that time frame, people, in 2007, in the death of David Van Fleet, 62. A department spokeswoman said investigators believe V. Flan. Hold on, I got a little ad popped up. Sorry for that. Van Fleet had been a homicide victim, and his body's been dumped in the California aqueduct, pretty much a pond, or you know what I mean. Jones lived in a room, and Van Fleet, Victorville residence, and 12400 block of Quantum Court. So I thought this was something awkward too. I thought it was awkward that the man lived with the dude. And before we get into that part, Cuzzo, you got anything you want to, say in this introduction before I get to, the meat and potatoes?
I'll sum it up really quickly and say, in the simplest of terms, this is judicial malice at its finest. This is textbook judicial malice, bias, and the expediting of an inmate to get money every year from the state and from these private companies that invest into these prisoners. So at the very least, he's done his time for his unwilling act in abetting in the murder. Unwillingly, he's done his time. 17 years is more than enough for committing something that you had no intention of. So like my father said, under duress. You understand? So your life is being threatened. Help me move this body, or you will be a body.
So you're saying that he already spent his time for the type of crime that he did. That 17 years paid for that time. You saying?
Yes. And I'm also saying, and that's being nice, and that's being nice to white people. You know what I'm saying?
I want to try and say one thing too that really, because Dante, what you just touched on, I brought to his attention, Mr. Davis' attention, and I was very bothered by his counsel allowing him to express. He was in arrest at the time. It has been, none of that has been communicated in a court of law. He was told not to take the stand, but how can I understand your situation if I don't know exactly what happened? Never let a judge and jury know that he was under duress. And when he read his case out, they said, well, he had ample opportunity. But when somebody have a gun, they are in control until I'm no longer in presence.
Right.
I'm not calling no police. I'm not doing anything but protecting my life. And that's what it sounded like Mr. Davis was trying to do at the time. And he just got railroaded. He didn't, and he got misrepresented as well. So those are two things I would like for his family to continue to bring to the media attention. Is he didn't have nobody. All an attorney is an advocate. He had nobody to advocate for him.
Right. He had nobody that really cared.
And that he was under duress at the time of this crime. Because had been anybody else, I would have cooperated, and so would anybody else. There's nobody would have said some stuff like you on your own, and he got a gun in his. Nobody that tough.
Right.
So, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did want, to let that be known, because that's a key factor. Aiding and abetting is a very complex title, which I love being in California because this is my home state, and I'm going to help the men and the women that's right here home. As much as I hate the 3 strikes law, I love seeing my friends for stupid stuff like domestic violence. Wind up getting one of my friends third strike. But Mr. Davis don't sound he had counsel, or he had counsel that helped him convict himself. Because there's a lot of attorneys that's work with the district attorney that just want to see you go to jail.
Right.
And his court, San Bernardino Court, has a very high successful conviction rate, and they have a very racist judicial system. So his case will never happen in the same place that took place at. He needs a change of. He can have a fresh pair of eyes and ears on the case. Somebody outside, it's like a conflict of interest for them to keep following his appeal at the same place where it all took place. He need a whole change of venue and everything.
Right.
Feel free to cut right on in with me. We have to.
Yeah. So with that being said, if anybody is willing to help, even $1 would help. If you want to donate, you want to go to GoFundMe and type in my cousin Kenny Home. Just type that in, and it'll be the first thing that pops up. My cousin Kenny Home. If you can donate at least $1, if we can get everybody to donate $1, it would exceed our bottom dollar amount that we need to be able to pay for his advocacy.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna post the link right now to his GoFundMe. You send it to me too, huh?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now.
And right now we're just touching on it. We're getting the feel of what's going on, and we're getting you guys informed. So that way, when we come back Saturday, we're going to do a deep dive into what's going on, and a deep dive into the transcripts and everything to figure out how did this whole man end up in prison, and how can people like us that's watching that are outside, how can we help? How can we contribute to freeing this young man?
Feel free to check my social media and my YouTube platform.
1 second, I have to post something right quick. I'm gonna put this link up here. So I'm gonna put that link up there where people can go and download or add. Hold on, give me 1 second while I do this. The question I had was, the guy was in the room with him, right? The guy stayed at the building or wherever the guy hang out. Stephen Jones was literally living with the man that was accused of being murdered.
Right.
And my thing, the food is coming from
So here's the GoFundMe, people. Right here's the GoFundMe. We're not looking for a lot. We're just only looking for around $5,000. That would really just kind of take care of the legal part of it. And that's small. That's not even major. I mean, shit, if 50 people gave $100, I mean, we'll, we meet our agreements, you know what I mean? I mean, shit, if 100 people gave, a couple dollars. Anyway, the whole point is that we needed to be able to free someone who's been wrongly done by our justice system. Now, I know y'all like, well, shit, there's 100 people out there that was wrongfully done. You know what I mean? Why are we not coming at them? You know what I mean? Why are we not going for them? I think this is where it definitely starts. There's innocent programs out there that we can get with. We know we need that information. You know what I mean? We need those. I mean, any legal help, really. Any publicity is great publicity at this point to really kind of change the narrative of things.
Right.
In this case, we can get him trialed in or get his case appealed in a different location. You know what I mean? Maybe that will help lessen and make it more accurate to say, you know what, this dude going on 18, 19 years on this shit that happened. How was his record? He has a good record. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. And under the new law they passed, the SB 1437, the aiding and abetting law, aiding, abetting, and murder, he's supposed to be out anyway. They denied him. They denied him on an appeal for his exact case, for his exact situation. So it's like you got people that are biased and people that who have different motives looking at your case over and over again. Of course, they're going to have the same answer every time. So that's where we're at.
So I wanted to kind of get you guys' take on this issue. The guy was in Unc. I'm gonna go to you, Unc. The guy was in the white cat lived with the white guy, the old white guy that stayed at the spot. Is there something kind of funny at that? I mean, there could be a clear motive. I believe the guy was dating, you know what I mean, old girl, you know, his granddaughter or some shit. You get what I mean? So there was a lot of issue there. There's a lot of motive there. There's a lot of issue there. You know, what's wrong with that picture?
I do believe, you know, there was definitely, well, in the area that he was in, there was a racial element to why he got so much time. Because the other dude, I'm not sure he was white. I think he was biracial, but I think you know, some of the connections he may have had with his family or whatever. Like even when it comes to the financial part of it, like when Kenny went in, we were in no position to even give him proper legal representation, you know, and he had to deal with the public pretender, which really sealed the deal, especially after talking to him, because really, and I gotta go back to that, just their whole thing. I mean, your Miranda rights tell you anything you say can and will be used against you. So there's nothing you can say in there that's gonna help you in that situation. Right. Like the first thing needs to be done was to seek counsel. Now I think the difference in that situation is the other dude, he may have had some family members, may have had somebody put something up, may have gotten a lawyer. I'm not sure. I haven't looked deep into his case. And again, I don't even know if he's out right now or whatever. That would be crazy. But there's definitely a racial element, and he was supposed to be tried by a jury of his peers, but I'm quite sure the jury was 90, if not 100% white.
Okay. So, to me, I didn't understand why a lawyer couldn't see that part. Well, there's clearly a motive here. And if we clearly see that this dude came over here and now you know what's crazy, because if the guy that pulled the trigger, if he was like, yes, I called him over, that would clearly, you know what I mean, say that, okay, Kenneth Davis is actually right about going over there, and he was called over there. So it wasn't something like he was along with this whole plan. Now, depends on the scarcity. I think they're kind of saying, well, we're going to fight the scarcity part. As far as you saying that he held a gun at you, or he had a gun and you were scared, they're going to fight that issue, because it's like, it's a thin line between, you know, wanting or going along with it and being scared to do it, right? They're probably looking at, you know, my brother's size and probably saying, man, you a big healthy dude. You look like you can knock something.
Well, to his defense, Kenny just got that big. Like Kenny wasn't that big when he went in. You know, 17 years in prison will work some wonders on your body, if nothing else. But
you're 19, you're not even developed.
Yeah, but to my understanding, he was not even present in the room when the shots were fired.
Right.
Like he wasn't even in the same room while it was fired. What they're trying to say is when the body was disposed of in the aqueduct, they were trying to say that that the gentleman in question may have still been alive because they found water in his lungs, which would have made my nephew guilty of actually murdering him. They're saying he wasn't dead, and then they threw him in the water, and that's when he actually died.
Oh, and then so they're using that part of it to say, well, he clearly is accused of this crime because the guy drowned.
But that's all hearsay and speculation.
Yeah.
He may have been alive. They can't prove that beyond a reasonable doubt.
Wow.
That's void.
Wow. Because you can't fight that. You can actually fight that. And now I guess that's the part I was looking at. like, damn, they're very slick. Like me, I'm always playing devil's advocate, right? Because the reason I play devil's advocate a lot because I like to play on the other side. So if I clear everything I have to, you know what I mean? Like if I'm playing devil's advocate with my own shit, then I'm gonna clear all the areas of there's all it's tight. Ain't no fucking T's uncrossed I's, you know what I mean? Because I'm having a devil's advocate way of looking at my own situation. And I think but I didn't learn that till I got fucking older. You know what I mean? I'm 37 now. So you get what I mean?
Right.
You don't learn shit until you get older. When you're young, we just kind of moving around and just, we're good. Pulling up on niggas and all type of shit, right? No one is there. I didn't have anyone there to really kind of coach me to do some things, even when I got locked up and doing my own thing because of some dope choices I had. You get what I mean? So like I understood, like, okay, there's some things I may have to play myself out of, and I guess I'm looking at I didn't mean to kind of sound devil's advocate, but I was looking at it like, well, like, cause I tell my bro too, I'm like, well, bro, like they're slick, my nigga, like that's slick as fuck. That is slick as fuck. They're gonna say yes, abating and blase, but it was because of this issue. Not because you know what I mean. If you understand what I'm talking about, they're talking about the issue of him going into the water. You get what I mean? It's because of this is the reason why. No, man, that's not the reason why. Don't make that the reason. They're doing that, and that's what's keeping him with that narrative. With that stick. You get what I mean? So I think that's
and I think
I'm not able
I think one of the most fucked up parts about the entire situation is after everything happened and the guy who actually committed the murder was caught, he implicated my nephew in the murder. Like he got caught for a murder he committed, and he implemented the person who he coerced into helping. So that was truly fucked up on another level.
Right, I think it was something like he said he was with him or along with the shit or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And so
how old was the other co-defendant? How old was? Because I know how old Mr. Davis was. I just want to be clear. How old
he was 19. He was 19 as well.
They're the same age, yeah.
So if you look at the situation of like, you know what I mean, right? No one can be trusted, right? In this sense, right? It's like no one can be trusted, right? My bro didn't know. My bro was unaware. He was just being like, "Nah, I came over here. Woo woo. This what happened. Blase blase. You know, definitely when the niggas throwing the football number at you and they throwing the L at you, you gonna be like, whoa, hold on. This is what happened, my nigga. So don't try to get it twisted. Like well, now you have old boy saying that you was along with the shit, and then you have the fucking court saying that you was along with the shit. And it's like, damn, that's 2 against 1 now. The nigga who pulled the trigger is saying that, you know what I mean? And they already like, well, we got him, blase. But then again, like, really, so it's like my bro is backed up against the wall, like, what the fuck? Whoa, though. Whoa, this is, whoa. You get what I mean? I think that's the part that's really fucked up.
I think if any of us 3 men right here, at 19 years old, if I think back at 19, my mental state, I wasn't in the same mental state I am now. I didn't have the same mental capacity and the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding of life at 22 that I have now. I didn't have it at 19. At 19, if I had went over to collect a debt, and upon walking into that house and I see a man in the bed and he's talking about, you know, I'm about to do this and that to him, and I'm outside the room, he go in there, I hear a gunshot. In that moment, I'm a real talk, you gonna freeze up. You gonna freeze up like a motherfucker. I don't care what none of y'all niggas say, you gonna freeze up. And when that nigga coming there with that pistol in his hand, he just shot this nigga. Hey, help me move his body.
Well, if you've never been through it, see, that's how you know, bro, that was his first time going through something like that. Because if you've been through it, the nigga be like, nigga, I already know what's coming up. You know what I mean? But if you haven't been through something like that, it's easy to, like, you right, freeze up. Like, okay, I give you for instance, I had a fight. I had this big, you know, some niggas in Monrovia out here, you know, Latinos. They hold on, somebody's mic. they tried to jump me anyway. So I'm out there squabbling. But my chick at the time, she had never been through no shit like that, and she did what? Froze the fuck up. She froze up like a motherfucker. Like, what do I do here? Because she just saw me just whooping ass. You know what I mean? And it just kind of shocked her. Like, what the hell? But I think that's where it's true. If you never been through something like that, yes, you're gonna freeze the fuck up. You know?
And then as soon as you come in there with that pistol and tell you to move, you're gonna move.
So much.
No fact.
I don't care what nobody says.
Think about it. This nigga just took out the motherfucker in the room. You know what I mean? We clearly see that he just killed the dude in the room.
You come to get your dead.
I'm coming to get my money, and he like, yo, help me with the whoop. And you like, well, if I don't do it, he's gonna put a bullet through my head, and then he gotta, you know what I mean? Then it's like, damn, right? But the court is not. They're not looking at logic, right?
Yeah.
They're not looking at actual emotions and going through something psychologically.
Right.
They're looking at the fact that, oh well, you're a grown person, you're well equipped to make certain decisions, and you make this decision to do this and blase, 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 right? When clearly we know that one of their fucking nephews or nieces wouldn't be going through that shit. Right. So then we know, like, oh, we see it's a money grab, right? This man would cost X amount of dollars, X amount of millions of dollars a year under our, you know what I mean? It becomes a money grab. Big time.
Right.
Supposedly, I know someone was telling me, I know he was telling me that, you know, someone was thinking about suing and taking it to, you know what I mean, the feds and saying, you know, having the feds look at this case and correct this case as this, you know what I mean? I think that was, I think Brody was talking about you, Miss Tangi. Oh, hold on, you on mute. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah. I apologize for the rain.
Oh, you okay?
Multitasking. Just give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
Just give me 2 minutes. But
Yeah. So
as a federal lawsuit for Mr. Davis because all his civil rights was violated. His American Disability Act. See, I'm looking for strategies. None of these attorneys found the defense. Everything he showed me about his case pointed to him not having no defense. That's where your attorney comes in at. Your attorney is supposed to find, even if it's not guilty by reasonable insanity. Your attorney is supposed to be advocating some type of defense on your behalf besides you taking a bullshit deal. And I don't see that Mr. Davis' disability was acknowledged. I don't see that. And the reason why I keep saying disability is because this is the line we're pushing since they want to say Mr. Davis had so much opportunity to walk away from the case. Mentally ill people don't walk away from anything. They're incompetent. Their mind is not there. So this is why I keep saying what I'm saying about this mental illness thing. Because no one wants to acknowledge it, but he is. To have somebody tell you, you're going to help me get rid of his body, and I agree to it. Trust and believe me. It was a poor choice. It was misguided. He's been served his time. So let's get that out the way, too. He's been served his time. Guilty by association. The aiding and abetting. Under duress. And the fact that he shouldn't even been, the case should have never went to trial with him based off of his psychological evaluation, analysis from the psychiatrist. How are you going to discredit the psychiatrist that did a long, Mr. Davis and I stayed on the phone an hour, and I was listening to her court testimony for Mr. Davis on his behalf. Nothing was acknowledged. They wouldn't let the defense have a defense. So this is how I know this is racial discrimination that is finding it as well.
Right. And I believe when we dealing with people that make money off of prisons, I mean, it's hard to get justice if ain't nobody looking.
No.
See, right now we're on here. Handle your audio, right? Your audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
These people get paid to put people in prison. So when nobody's looking, we gonna railroad him through the prison just so we can get that 100-something thousand every year. You know what I'm saying? The only way you get justice, look at any case where people have gotten justice, it was light shed on it. It was reported in the news. You never hear about justice in the dark. And so that's what we have to do. We have to bring this to the light in order to force them to do what's right. Because right now they doing what's right for their pockets and for the people that the billionaires and millionaires that's investing in these prisons. You know what I'm saying? It's about money. It's about money. It's not even about whether he killed somebody or not. It's about we can make some money. The attorneys that never even tried to build a case, they making money. The DA making money. The judge making money. The CEOs making money. The nigga that drive the bus to take the niggas to prison making money. So it's all about money. It's not even about whether you did something wrong or right. Because if you look at this case and analyze it and think, what is right here and what's wrong here? And let's look at the facts of the case with wisdom, not logic. Let's use wisdom. Because logically, that's when you start breaking down the nitty gritty of, he could have still had water. He could have still been alive, and that's how he got the water in his lung. Being wise, it would tell you somebody shot in the head. What's the probability of that person surviving? So when you look at it with wisdom, you say, okay, it's a 19-year-old kid, never been in trouble before, never been in trouble with the law. When you look at it from that point of view, it's like it seemed like they were taking advantage on a meal ticket because they knew just by the association of the actual murderer, they could make money because they knew they can throw 2 L's at these 2 people and make money for life off these people for the rest of their life.
And let me do this. Let me paint y'all the picture that they have in the media, right? This is what we don't take notice, right? We really don't take notice of this as melanated beings. We don't look at the narrative enough because the narrative be the very thing that convicts us in their eyes of the situation, right? In the narrative, we're gonna go depth in on Saturday, but the narrative that they have out there is that the 62-year-old man was a great man, and he had grandkids, he had kids, and he took in this homeless kid and gave him a place, and this homeless kid took his life. This kid who had no home took his life, and my bro don't come in until way later, until the body was blase, right? And so, and they tried both of them. But hold on. When you look at this is the part where I'm like, well, this is something that the defense should have been looking at. You know what I mean? Hold on. There's a relationship here. This man was interacting with, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You have to see what I'm saying. Like, we don't see how to fight the narrative, right? And then how you fight you use the strongest point that they're using, you use that against them. Well, how can you accumulate that type of relationship with someone to really bring them in their home? You know what I mean? Give them a room and all. You get what I mean? That's and then all of a sudden, when you ready to kick the little motherfucker out, that's what happened. When you look at the story of what happened, I've been looking at the story this right now, right? And David Van Fleet was about to kick Stephen Jones out the damn house. And while he was asleep, his life was taken.
Right.
That is some of the story right there.
That's it. That's
really. Now his wife, Stephen Jones' wife, as I was reading right here, which is wild. His wife is saying that he didn't get a fair trial. His wife said that the trial only took 17 minutes to come up with a verdict. Now,
well, that's besides the point.
No, I'm just laughing because you don't hear nothing from Kenneth Davis side of the family. You don't hear anything. I don't see anything in no type of media form where his side of the family was speaking up for his defense. Even though we clearly know that this man had an interaction with this old guy and he took his life. I can clearly see that. The dude was probably on drugs. He was probably, you know what I mean? There's who knows, right? There was a lot of shit that was going on back then.
Right.
When I was fucking 19, 18, right? Niggas was doing a gang of shit. I ain't gonna lie, right? Now, when I'm looking at, well, he had an interaction with this old white man and he took this white man's life. And then you look at the type of stature of the guy, right? And they're like, nah, we got to make sure this gets some justice, right? We don't know who Van Fleet affected. We don't know if he knew some councilmen. We don't know if he knew, you know what I mean? This is an older dude, right? This nigga had to do, he got to have some type of weight around this city type shit. I'm not saying he was the all-American guy. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you don't get to a certain amount of age and not know anybody in some type of situations. All I'm saying, right? And people push for things. People push, right? But we don't act like white people, right? When we should. We should bug the court system, just like they were. We should actually, I mean, should, you know, they obviously, if we're taxpaying dollars, it's our money that. No, go ahead, Unc. Go ahead, Unc. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, nah. I would just say, Mr. Van Fleet had the complexion for the protection of the collection. You feel me? So, like, just being white, you ain't gotta know nobody. White people, they have a camaraderie amongst each other. You ain't gotta know nobody. Somebody probably looked at him and like, oh, that remind me of my uncle. That remind me of my grandfather. Maybe one of the DAs or the juror or anybody involved in that case. All they have to do is identify him in some way, and that's going help with the adjudication of the whole situation. So it's a little deeper than just knowing somebody. It's like he a part of that complexion that run the system. And if you go before those courts with a certain complexion, you get favor. They favor you. That's what it is.
And that's why we
can't dance around that.
And that's why we wanted to bring up the AB 256 Racial Discrimination Act, because it's like they wanted to make an example out of these two young men for messing around and for doing anything to a white man. They wanted to make an example. How dare you do this to one of our own? You know, like my dad said, they related to that person. So now you got a bunch of people on the stand relating to an individual that you had no connection to. You had connection to the debt. So you have people that are judging you and looking at this man like you said, that could have been my uncle, that could have been my grandfather, and they're judging you like they're looking at their skin, they're looking at your skin. It's like, who are you gonna side with? Who you gonna side with? When we got all the power, we holding all the cards. You can kill the white man. I see two colored boys, and we talking about 2009 where they wouldn't even out in the open with going against racial discrimination at that time. I feel like they weren't out. Nobody's rooting for black people at that time, especially in the judicial system. That's why he was able to get in that situation.
I don't want to throw fuel to the fire, but I mean, if I could remember right, I think my bro said the dude was a white cat.
Right. Now, from what I understand, I'm not sure.
I could be wrong though. You know what I mean?
You talking about the actual murderer?
Right.
He was biracial.
Okay.
But if you saw him, you would probably think he was white.
Oh wow. Okay. And supposedly
which played a factor in why he got 50 years and my nephew got life without the possibility of parole.
Well, and when it's crazy because my bro said that too, and when you look out on media and you go search this story, in the stories they say they both got life, but when you see from the courts and the court papers, you like, oh, it's not really like that. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we don't. That's what I was talking about, the narrative, right? The narrative fucks us over because we as people don't look at it. We like, well, fuck it. We go just blase, not knowing that that's the very thing that's keeping them or that's keeping us down is the narrative.
Right.
Whether we look at us out in the streets and you got a lot of black folks that got money. You know what I mean? But for some reason, we can't get out from the fucking narrative.
Right.
Yeah, because snake, snakes like to move in dark places. You know, they don't want the light shown on them. And I think the fact that they own the narrative of that situation is what led it to be what it is. And that's again on our part of his family. We weren't out in the forefront advocating for him, because we felt helpless at that time, just to be straight up. But we weren't out in the forefront fighting for him and advocating for him publicly, which like the sister said, like this, and I've said this to family, like this needs to be on the news, like this needs to be brought into a public forum. And then the way that they don't like light shown up on them. They'll quickly change the way they moving when you shine that spotlight on the situation. And I think that could help us. That can help us right now, definitely.
It's crazy because yes, you're right. The publication is a big thing because the couple of stories I saw was already.
I think Sister Tangi trying to talk. She on mute. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, no, I was saying that's the strategy I'm trying to use. The federal law to open up the door to get the whole case reviewed by the federal courts. And also, I believe Mr. Dante, I believe that he deserves compensation. I'm not just going for his release. I'm going for a compensation for the years he spent there as well, due to the fact that I'm not, like he was telling me about I can't ignore the IEP. I can't ignore the misleading guidance from his attorneys. I can't ignore the fact that he said he was scared. Now, coming from a mother's perspective, I'm a mother of 7. If my son told me, Mama, I was scared, I just cooperated to do what I had to do to stay alive because this dude mindset wasn't right. I feared for my safety in my life. I don't understand why would that be so hard for a judge or a jury to understand. So with that being said, I believe he also was judged very harshly. Very harshly. We're not talking about someone who's been in and out of jail 1,000 times. We're talking about somebody who was at the wrong place at the wrong time for the first time. And that's one thing he got good in his on his behalf. He's been in custody and he hasn't had no reaction. He hasn't showed no violence since he's been arrested. That's these are all key factors that I'll be bringing up on Mr. Davis' behalf. And the legal advocacy is very important. This is something in the community is not talked about enough. We're told to trust the process with the judicial system. We also be bound by religion too. Jesus will fix it. It's gonna take more than Jesus. It's gonna take Jesus, Allah, Buddha, and everybody else. You have to open up your mind to the fact that you gotta get busy. We need to be at San Bernardino courthouse protesting, pushing the line. The same way we push the line for the stuff that's important to us, this is all of our child. And I'm looking at it from a parental perspective. I've had a 19-year-old. So I'm looking at it like that. This is everything. This is my future generation. Like, if we leave him there, we're saying that okay, railroad the African American king, and this has only been his first time in jail. He don't have no previous criminal history. He don't have nothing to support violence about him, and we're gonna just stand there and not take a stand for him. Everybody should be supporting this on their news. Matter of fact, I would like
Right,
to propose
right.
that we get some T-shirts made. And Mr.
Yeah,
Day,
yeah, yeah. We gotta
we
do a campaign.
how you get, yeah,
People,
none of
if you're just now tuning in,
tried
this
to
is
publicize
my. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
his case. His attorneys didn't publicize his case. That's a legal strategy, and I'm not even done with law school. I know that if I really want my voice heard, I need to be on all social media platforms advocating. His attorney should have been advocating and getting someone to push for the dismissal of the case by reasonable insanity. They didn't even try to come up with a defense.
Right.
They didn't even try to establish, anything outside of him aiding and abetting. Under duress, and they never used the term under duress, which legal terminology is also a big key factor in his case too. They knew that Mr. Davis never been in trouble before, and he didn't know what was going on. He did not know what was going on. Without the proper resources, he got the short end of the stick, and it's not fair. And I don't care if we got to go to the highest level in court. I don't care if we got to hit his previous attorney's pockets to send the message, you didn't do a good job with representing him. That's what I'm willing to do. And I want y'all support. And I know that I was on the phone with Mr. Davis. When I clicked over, he just said thank you. I told him I want to get back to the podcast, but he just said thank you guys for all y'all love and support. I told him that you guys are doing extremely well on this podcast, and me and him is gonna be in touch soon. I just wanted to tell you guys, I really see great things happening, but this time we're gonna start with the lawsuit first. The lawsuit is gonna crack the whole case wide open. We gotta hit their pockets. Just trying to seek justice have to come sometime in different forms and fashions. His attorney never tried to use that as a strategy. You can always use a federal lawsuit as a strategy when you want to get their attention.
Hold on. Cause they in the chat. Look on IG and TikTok. No, people, this is not something that. This is my brother we're talking about here. My brother is doing actual, life in pen for some crap that he really wasn't a part of. And when you breaking down the case, we didn't have proper legal representation to fight in his defense to lower the charge. Now, for the case that he's doing, he's already done 17 years. And so by already doing 17 years, my little cousin already pointed throughout the show that he already served his time for that particular penal code, whatever it is. You know what I mean? What was it, cousin?
I think he had an aiding and abetting felony murder charge.
Now, what's the code that says? Hey, what was it?
The SB 1437. And that's freeing people who have aided and abetted in felony murder that didn't have the intent to kill, who unwillingly abetted in that murder under duress, under the possibility of being killed and becoming a second body.
So yes, people, this is some deep. You already know me, Tribe Nation, Tribe Guy. You already know me. I'm. This is my family, right? This is my actual blood. Like, so because of that, we need y'all help. The money that goes, we're not asking for a lot. We're not asking for 30,000. We're not asking for no 50,000, 60. No. Literally, it's around 5K.
Right.
And it just helps us with some legal things that we need to get across to be able to push this case forward.
Right.
And be able to
all that money is going towards getting him out. All that money is going towards getting him out of prison. Period.
Yeah.
All of it.
And we know, like, you can't do shit with 5K if you're trying to like split it amongst people. You can't do a goddamn thing. You know what I mean? We can do that on our own, working the job or side hustle or some shit. Right. Yes, we are putting our funds with it, but it helps when we can have some political factor or some public factor to help us with this. So honestly, we're not saying we want y'all. We saying as people, we need each other, and this is where we come and we show that we can maneuver beyond the justice system. I end up telling my bro, one of my other cousins, I'm like, yo, we don't know that we push certain things across and not even knowing that we doing it. Like if we all like a certain thing, the market has to change to now selling that certain thing now because everybody wants it. It's a popular demand. So when you have people that's storming out in front of in courtrooms, you know what I mean, or they're in front of the courthouse and they're protesting, right? They tend to get their message across,
right?
Because they've had enough.
Changed.
You know what I mean? So I'm just saying to the ones that's radical about it, and to the ones that fight silent, you can help us by fighting silent in your silence by $1 or $10. Actually, we asked for 50 people to donate $100. And those 50 people, I will send out merchandise. I will, if you send out, 100 or plus, I will send Gasmasktribe merch to you. I will send the sweater. If you send anything bigger than $100, I'll send the embroidery sweater, to you. And my family will let me know who you are. I'll get your address and we'll get your information and we'll send it out to you. And that way, you like, wow, I helped the cause, but then I was able to, get some merch and stuff like that. Y'all know I don't really do that, shit a lot, but I know I gotta give something to be able to get you guys understand how serious I am about it. You know what I mean? So I have tons of merch. If you guys don't know, we have tons of merch. I'll show a video that's presenting some merch, but help. GoFundMe is right there. You can, grab it. Literally, the link is right there. You can just go and, anything over $100, I'm sending out free merch to you. So you'll get a package, and who knows what to be in it. You know what I mean? It's at your choice, but who knows what to be in it?
Right. I mean? And then I say, if you can donate $1 would help. Because if we get everybody donate $1, now we got money. That's gonna be over. That's gonna be over 5,000. A lot of y'all gonna keep y'all dollars.
Yeah.
And if y'all want to stop being superficial, holler at Biz.
Yeah, man. And no lie, man. I mean, close knit, personal. My family will let me know who that person that sent over $100, and I will send them actual merch, and I'll pay for the shipping and handling, so you ain't got to worry about it. You know what I mean? Me and my team will get together and send it out to you, sign it, send you the new album also that I've been working on. But we definitely go meet our goal, and we're gonna meet it quick. The whole campaign.
One last point I want to make before I lose my train of thought.
Go ahead.
Is to don't take a stand is to say that this is okay. Keep in mind, you still live in California. You got sons and daughters that could very well be in Mr. Davis's case. And be in his situation. So take a stand. And those that take a stand, you're doing something for future generations. We're trying to change laws around here. I'm a game changer. I'm trying to change laws. I want to see this law change for my future generation. I may not even be around to see who all this is going to benefit for in the next 20, 30, or 40 years, but I stood for something. Think about it. You got a 19-year-old child somewhere, a niece, a nephew that could very well be in Mr. Davis's situation, especially if you live in the state of California. So please donate and come from the heart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And to that comment, it already went off. Yeah. In that situation, I don't know if you got in late, but in that situation, the guy you trying to calm down is a guy who shot the man and who's now threatening you to help move the body. So it's a different. I don't think you got the full picture of what exactly. If you want, you can, Biz, you can go through and kind of reiterate what exactly we're talking about for the people in the comments.
So people, thank y'all so much again for tuning in. This is currently, and we're going to be going more in depth about this on Saturday. But this is according to my bro, right? My bro is currently serving a 17-year sentence right now, but he's on his record is life with 9 consecutive years. After that, I asked my brother what does that mean when they say 9 consecutive years after life? And he said that means if I do 999 years, nigga, they want me to do 9 more. This is crazy. Now, my brother, you asked, like, well, damn, did he kill a whole militia team? Did he take out the fucking government official? No, my brother was not even a part of anything like that at all. Matter of fact, he's never really put down a body in the sense, you know what I mean? He's never really like done anything like this. This is his first offense. He's already been he's already been doing 17 years already, and we're just trying to get some real good legal protection and to fight in his defense to be able to get him out. There's people that have done harder crimes. On Saturday, I'm going to bring up some cases of other people who have done way worse crimes and have gotten out on 17 years, 15 years. I even saw a case where a woman didn't get no time for killing a baby. So, you know what I mean? These are things that we're not even, and I know people are like, well, maybe because she's white. Look, people, sometimes we just have to look at the whole point of you have someone to fight in your defense, right? They would have locked that lady up, period. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she had someone to really fight in her defense. Right. And that same dude, I think, became a celebrity lawyer and started fighting in other criminals' defense.
Right. And let's not forget all the child molesters and predators. They don't even take the deal.
Come on.
It's me that's molesting kids, killing kids, and they getting probation. They getting, come on now, man. Y'all letting child molesters out. But somebody who's threatened to help move a body or you'll be a body, you gonna get him life in prison? Come on, it's not adding up. It's not adding up, man.
So tonight's conversation and topic was, you know what I mean? You went over to collect the debt from one of your friends. Come to find out, the friend of the house that he was staying at, the old man had kicked him out, but you have no idea of none of this. But the old man had kicked your friend out, and your friend already took his life. And now call you over because you said you wanted to come get your $100 or whatever the case may be. And he's like, okay, cool, come. But then again, when you get there, he has a burner out and he said, yo, I need you to, you know what I mean? We got to dispose the body type shit, right? And you like, whoa, in shock, right? And we had this conversation where we said, you said it, cuzzo, if anyone was in that situation, they would have froze up, right? And like I said, if it's your first time being something like that, you right. You would freeze up, right? The average person can say, oh, no, as soon as I would have started a gun, I would have ran out. Yeah, right, and caught a bullet in your ass. You know what I mean?
Until you in that situation.
Until you in that situation, it's a total different aspect. You know what I mean? So that's been our conversation tonight. And on Saturday, we're going to get into more the legal aspects, and we're going to bring up other cases of people. And we're going to continue to push this campaign until we have people who are like, okay, I'm getting the message. I'm saying that you guys are serious. Because, you know, when you do something the first time, people say, oh, this is cool. When you do it the second time, they're like, oh, okay. By the 15th time, they're like, oh, shit, no, you've been serious. I even looked up the case my damn self. You get what I mean?
Right.
And you have to continue to keep telling people, hey, just look up the story. Just look up the story. Just look up the story. And I guarantee you, I've seen many of these stories. I've been studying this story for a while. And my bro does not come up in the conversation until after the man had took out the old white man. Right?
After he shot him. Right.
After he shot him. My bro don't come up in the conversation. Right? This guy was living with this old white dude. And then the old white dude was like, no, you got to get out. Who knows what the guy was? He was probably doing dope. He was probably on some other shit. Steven was probably doing who knows what he was doing. right? And then the white dude's like, "You got to go," and the next moment, white dude go and take a sleep, and he's murdered in his sleep. But now the court said, "No, we took the autopsy. The autopsy says no, he was not murdered that time. He could have still lived because what caused his death, quote unquote, to the books, to the actual what the coroner is saying, that he died when he got disposed in the water, right?
Right.
And well, because they said it's a maybe, right? It was like it's a maybe.
Yeah, he may have still been alive. So what up? So I'm a maybe give you life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's basically what you're saying. I'm gonna do a coin flip on your life. On that maybe, I'm gonna do a coin flip on your life. And okay, landing on tails. There go your LY off of maybe.
Mars says, of course. What's up, Mars? How you doing, fam? Mars says, of course, any person would have froze, but I will still say no and tell him to forget about. I
don't think you would have been on here commenting. I don't know about that. I don't know how that would have went over well. I don't know.
I mean,
we'll never know.
I mean, like, I mean, if your friend is now Mars, if your friend got that pistol pointed at your head, you know what I mean? There's a little things, you know what I mean? You may be forced to, you know what I mean? I'm not saying like a motherfucker may not be afraid of death. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck. You can shoot me, you blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Cool, I get it, right? Because everybody do what they do in their own comfortability. And I don't knock them for that. You know what I mean? I just kind of look at the general person, like the actual general person. Like I said earlier, when I had a fight, I had a big ass fight with the Latinos, and the chick I was with, she was Puerto Rican. And yeah, she probably was fighting me because I was with this Puerto Rican chick, or whatever the case may be. But she froze up. She literally, she didn't go get help. She didn't go to, she froze up in that moment. Like, you know what I mean? So I get it. Like, if you're first time going through some shit like that and you ain't never really seen somebody dead like that, you know what I mean? I mean, still, when I was growing up and I saw shit in the alley, I was like, oh, goddamn. You know what I mean? That's real. You know what I mean?
And not only that, you're 19 years old and you just getting off work. So you need this money. You going to collect this debt because you need this money to pay your rent. You 19 years old on your own. It's not 19 years old and he got a support system. He got a family, everybody behind him support. This 19 on your own. No guidance. And you need to collect this debt because you need the money to pay your rent. Because you living on your own. You need every penny. And you end up being in situations where you're having to move a body to preserve your own life. So it's like,
Mars is saying, forget about the debt. You like, I'm good. I go home.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go home. Hey.
I'm cool. You know, you can have that. did you want 200? Was it 200 you wanted?
Yeah, exactly.
I got 100 more for you. Here.
Right.
But I get it, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes we have to make, like, you know what I mean? I crack jokes with my bro, too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a real goofball in the time of sorrow, in the time of when we should be, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
I always find something to laugh about because at the end of the day, our heart's still beating. We're still able to talk to each other. You know what I mean? We're still able to communicate and have dialect that can influence each other to do maybe, you know what I mean, learn something from each other in a way, right? We can still have that, you know what I mean?
And we have hope. If you look at this, anybody with eyes, look at this case, and you know how to read, there's room for error on Kenneth's part. There's room for error. Now, if you look at Steven's part, there's no room for error there. You had a relationship with this man. Where is the error at? You had a relationship with this man. You knew this man. You lived with this man. Then you got somebody who's an outsider to this household. Y'all got a household together. So you got somebody who's an outsider to this household coming in. That's error. That's error.
He said, "She, hell yeah, nigga, I was never here." Who was you?
Yeah. But hey, Mars, I'm gonna ask you, how old are you though? You saying that now, how old are you? See, that plays a lot into it. You talking about somebody who's 19. And according to the study that they have done, I think somebody who's between, they done a study in California, some college kids. If you're between, I believe, 18 and 26 or 19 and 26, you're deemed not even mentally capable to make important decisions based off the fact that your brain hasn't fully developed. So you look at somebody who's 19, they haven't fully developed in their brain. Biz, you still there? What's going on with you? I think Biz cutting out, but when you look at somebody who's that,
I'm still. I'm just fixing my light was just going crazy.
When you look at somebody who's that young, you gotta look at that age factor too. Because like I said, I'm 22. 19 was a couple years ago, and I'm looking back at myself like, oh yeah, you was a buster. You wasn't, my mental state wasn't there. And that's just looking back a couple years. I mean, look back when y'all, daddy, when you was 19, can you say you would have made an adequate decision in that time at 19?
And I don't think anybody who wasn't in the situation can give speculatory comment about what they would have did and should have did, because we can all say after the fact what we would have did and how from the outside looking in, but being in that situation, we don't know how we would have reacted if that was us in that situation. And that could have easily been us sitting in a prison cell right now, due to not making the right decision in that. And in his case, there was no right decision to make. It's like no matter what he did, he was putting his life in jeopardy. Because again, somebody sitting there, a motherfucker who just shot somebody in the head, they got murder on their mind. Murder is already on their mind. You already killed one motherfucker. Who's to say you ain't the next if you don't follow suit with what the fuck they tell you to do? So yeah, I mean, just like I said, it's easy to say in retrospect, but in that situation, nobody know what they know.
Now, even when we look at, okay, for somebody's perspective outside of family, let's say I'm a white man right now. Even looking at this, he's done his time for his unwilling aiding and abetting, though. 17 years, he's done his time, though. Even if you want to say, okay, he's guilty of abetting in the murder, but he's done his time for abetting in something that he didn't have a motive. He didn't have a motive for.
Well, for instance, it was a case that was widely publicized. This white Instagram OnlyFans model chick, she murdered her African boyfriend, stabbed him multiple times. It was all over the internet, everything. She got convicted recently. This bitch got probation for brutal murder. A brutal murder. So we can't negate that there is definitely a racial element involved in the time that he got, because it's ridiculous for him to serve 17 years right now and he didn't pull no trigger.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that it's location, right? I was telling bro this. I was telling my brother that, bro, I think it's location. I think because Victorville, right? Victorville is like, a little gay.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's a little rough around the edges. You're right about the racial tension, right? It may be a little different if that was in LA, or you know what I mean? It may be a little different if it was in, you know what I mean? But it was in Victorville, and the IE is kind of like, I've always been known about the IE and how strict the IE is, you know what I mean? And IE ain't no, like, I don't know, that San Bernardino County ain't, them sheriffs ain't no joke,
For real.
I mean, my cousin had robbed, he stole some candy, right? He was about maybe 17 or whatever at the time. He stole some candy. And they gave this nigga level 4 yard.
Oh,
yeah. Like, what the hell?
Some Jolly Ranchers or some shit.
Huh?
Some Jolly Ranchers.
Huh?
Some Jolly Ranchers.
No, No, I mean,
You
so
know
it was
what
like
I'm saying? He level
it was
forward.
like it was like okay, let me just say it was like to be exact, I think it was like some cookies or something. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
And then he like ran away from the cops. He's like running and shit. He jumped over some shit and whoa, but then they called him or whatever, right? And then when he went in, they was like, you know, he's such a problem, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know the way those court system work, man. They threw him first time, his first offense, he was on the level 4 yard. I'm like, how?
Just like Kenny. And then even if you look at my uncle that just got out, first offense, 24 years.
Yeah,
Level 4.
and like you were saying before, it's big money in it. It's big money in the warehousing of prisoners. Is big money in, just like you said, all these jobs that prison creates. Like there's big money in it. And the fact that hasn't been brought up, my nephew been in there working for 17 years for 8 cents an hour. He's been doing construction work. He's been doing work that maintains the grounds of the prison and all kind of shit for 8 cents an hour, which takes us back to the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment says that slavery is illegal. It's abolished and illegal in this country, except for punishment of a crime, except if duly convicted of a crime. So if you convicted of a crime in this country, you a slave. And that's slavery. If he's sitting in there working for 8 motherfucking cents an hour, they got a man for 17 years who actually they want him in there for life. His whole life, he will never make more than 8 to 10 cents a fucking hour. Like, that's deep. That goes beyond the warehousing and all the other shit.
Let's say 5 days as it goes $3.
No, I mean,
times that by
I just
4.
looked up the average cost of an inmate every year in California is $106,000. So they done made over $1 million off of keeping him locked up and denying him. Over $1 million just off of him. And then they say they got 18.1 billion put into prisons, a budget for prisons every year in California.
So he would make $120.80. In a month.
Oh man.
In a month.
And that's full-time employment. That's full-time employment.
That's full-time employment. I literally did the numbers. 80 cents times 8 hours, that's 64 cents. Times that by 5 days a week, right? That came out to $3.20. Times that by 4 weeks, right? That came out to 120. You understand? Like, this shit is like nuts.
Wait, 120 or 12? Wait, did you say 120 or is that $12?
In 1 month.
In a month. But you said it's $303.20 a week, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if it's $3.20 a week multiplied by 4 weeks, that's $12. That's 13 fucking dollars a month.
Yes,
yes, shit.
Yes. It's $12. Yeah, I got right here. 12. It's telling me $12 right here.
Yeah. It's $12
So
a
you talking
month.
about
That's
a year you got just a little over
that's over. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's over 100.
It'd be like it's like $150 a year
like the
for a full work.
You save up enough money, you can buy yourself out of slavery, but they pay them a shit every week to make sure they never add up to that amount. By the time they can pay themselves out, they too old. So you might as well just stay. It's the same concept. It's the same concept.
Look, I'm gonna go times that by 17 years, right?
Okay.
And they're only made $2,000, $2,500 in 17 years.
And that's what we need to get them out, y'all.
And he doing jobs that, as a felon, if he got out of prison, he couldn't even get them same fucking jobs.
Wow.
He would be denied. They got prisoners out there fighting fires, but when they get out, they can't be firefighters.
Are we for real right now? Like, we for real?
I'm tripping right now. Like, I'm tripping. I've never thought that I've never thought of someone that can get like someone would pay somebody $2,500 for 17 years of work.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm speechless. I'm speechless on that. I'm speechless on that. Yeah, I'm speechless on that.
You know how many people I would take out? I'm sorry, I don't have the brain capacity to deal with something like that. I'm sorry. That's why I told my bro, I'm like, bro, you're so much stronger than me, man. Because my fucking brain couldn't even.
Right, and we didn't even mention that he did 17 years on the straight and narrow. You know, on a level, he started on level 4. He's on level 4 for 5 years.
Do you understand? I pay that a month, like a monthly for a family in Los Angeles, like on a house. That's people monthly mortgages. What the fuck?
Right. Yeah. It's all bad.
And I couldn't even use that same talent. I couldn't even use that same talent that when I get out, I can make that damn near a day.
For real, Mark. Yeah. Right.
I can make $2,500 a day just because off the experience, the type of experience I have. But you go pay. Can't even fathom. I could make that I'd rather make that in 17 days. Instead of 17 years, I can make that in 17.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
Nah,
something ain't adding up here.
Yeah, man. Mark says, we said we should invest in MIC and AKA military industrial complex, selling in a dream shoe suit, right? It also says making money in the yard, but ain't nothing to show for it in the real world. The biggest scam.
For real. That's true,
man.
Mark. That's truth, Mars.
And this is why this is why I know a lot of people say, well, you know what I mean? Because I ain't trying to say I'm showing love to these motherfuckers, but I gotta voice it. I hear all the naysayers, well, he did what he did and he got himself in there, blase. And I'm just saying, not everybody is innocent, okay? Because I know everybody want to say people want to claim innocent. We're not saying the innocence part. Like, we're not claiming. We're saying, look, he did his time. He did his time for the actual crime that he's accused for. Why is he still there? Right. That's what we're saying. That's what we're bringing awareness to.
Right.
We're bringing awareness to that part. Like,
and we're talking about an unwilling participant, though. It's not somebody who wanted to do that and then got 17 years in prison. He didn't want to be a part of that shit and still having to take that.
I say, check this out, right? You're right, too. I'm like, check this out. If someone accused me of something and I'm punished for that, but then after that, you want to keep me in because it's such a beneficial thing. Now it becomes an obstruction of power. Now it becomes, you know what I mean, a money grab. And I'm not saying you can't make your money, right? I'm not saying niggas can't make their money and shit like that. But I don't want to be held accountable for you fucking using me to get more money out of when you're using me for something that you don't need me anymore. I already gave you my life. I gave you this. You can have it. Okay? Now, let me go.
Right.
It's like, well, no, you could have done this and you could have done that. I did not do that. You know why I didn't? Because I was held at gunpoint. Now, whether people want to believe that or not, that's something the attorney and the defense team has to prove in court, because the shooter is saying that he was in on it. Now, the court's saying that he was in on it. But we clearly see in the story, when everyone talks about it, he don't show up till after. I you know what I mean? Like, and nobody sees that. The defense don't come to his punk ass fucking pretenders, and I get it.
Right. Well, but that's assuming that he had an actual defense. Because if we know the system, the public pretenders and the DA, they'll give you life and go have lunch together.
For real.
You feel me?
For real.
Like they in cahoots. When I call it's all a system. It's a court-appointed attorney. You got to remember, it's you against the state.
Right.
The state is giving you representation. You already fucked. The motherfucker who's trying to fuck you over is gonna give you somebody that's gonna quote unquote represent you. Come on, man. That don't even make sense in itself. There's no way you're gonna get justice in that.
Right. One time I looked up a public defender's office because I didn't have the money for a case that I was dealing with at the time. Something simple, nothing major. And I was trying to look up the public defender's office. The DA's office popped up. So they working in the same office. This is buddy. This is co-worker.
Facts.
These niggas are friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on now, man. You gonna shut your homeboy down and make his career look bad, make him put a bad rep on his name by saying this don't add up. Nah, you gonna say all right.
But they sit down and make backdoor deals with your life. You know, hey, you know what? You give me Davis and I'll give you Jenkins. You know, they sit and make deals with niggas' lives like that. So it ain't. And that they don't factor us in. They don't factor the humanity of us in the whole equation.
Right. And like I told my dad one time we were talking, when it comes down to it, no matter what color you are, no matter what color woman I see, I can mate with her and create a child. So we are all the same being. We're all the same creature. We're all the same creation. We wouldn't be able to mate if we weren't the same. But we have people that think they're different. We have people that subscribe to these things like Darwinism and Hitler and Mao Zedong and things like that. You feel like you have excelled as a race, separating from the human race. You have excelled in your own class because you're violent enough and you're vile enough and you're attached straight to your instincts where you'll kill anything to survive. But see, black people, we had a certain amount of humanity to where it's like we have a certain amount of humanity to where on average, the crimes that we commit versus the crimes that our white counterparts commit don't add up. To where we have more humanity in the sense that if we looked at a young white kid that was 19 years old and they explained the situation as a black judge, I would have had mercy on that young 19-year-old kid. But the other way around, we can't say that judge would have had mercy on that young black kid.
Well, that's well. If I'm thinking like how I usually be radical thinking, I'm gonna say that we're weak because, in the sense that back then, I know people would think this is radical thinking, but I've seen white cops kick the shit out of black kids.
Okay.
But I've really never seen a black cop misuse a white kid.
All right, let's be real.
And I'm only saying that because,
but the system is set up to where the black person who would even exact violence upon a white person, they ain't gonna never be a police officer in the first place, man. Like I had similar run-ins with the law. My first offense ever in life at 18 years old. No, I was 17 when it happened. They caught me when I was 18, receiving stolen property, slapped me with a motherfucking felony. Right there. My first chance at life, I get a felony. You know, I go try to get a nice little job and everything. Ace the test, all kind of shit. White boy got a C average on the test. I get a 99. He get the fucking job. You feel me? Like they set us up for this. They set us up for this.
And at a lot of times we messed up. Not to interrupt you, we've messed up because a lot of narrative that they painted about black people and black men, we've adopted those narratives that they came up with.
True.
White people. There's white men that are running the music industry. These are white men that nobody will get famous without their authority. So you got to think, if all this music is being released, propagating violence, murder, drug use, and all these things by people who are white skinned, who are at the top of this record label, if they wouldn't release this stuff unless there was some kind of plan to it. And we're listening to it like, oh, this is us. This is my shit. This is us. Oh, that's my nigga. Whoop-de-whoop. My nigga Chris Brown. My nigga. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that this has been okayed by the record labels. Not knowing that we have white producers that sit back and write these rhymes. A lot of people don't know that these songs in the industry are nothing without the producers. So you have people that don't look like you paint the narrative of what they want you to be, and then we're saying that's us.
But I think it go a little deeper, because not to say we don't imitate or mimic the things we see, but in addition to that, who's the largest consumer of hip hop? It ain't black people.
Right.
I tell you that. It's about putting the narrative out of what black people do and how black people operate to a larger audience, which is the white people. So the white people, they can look at you and say, look, look at those niggas. Look what they do.
Right.
They'll point the camera at the fuckery. That's what niggas do. Right. And then so when my nephew goes before the court, they looking like, oh yeah, he looks just like those same niggas that was doing that shit on TV. Yeah, he looks just like them. Lock that nigga up.
Right. And so right now, what I want to do is I denounce all these hip hop artists. I denounce these record labels. I denounce all of them. Let's make our own narrative. Let's paint our own narrative. You know what I'm saying? This is a young black kid, 19 years old, who never been in trouble. That's the narrative. That's the narrative. That's a young black kid who's never been in trouble. He's not these hip hop niggas. He hasn't been to prison already. He hasn't hit the county already. This is all his first experiences. And y'all putting him in the Shark Tank like he one of them sharks. He was never one of them sharks, and that's the narrative. That's the narrative. That's the truth.
That's crazy, because that's exactly what it is. The narrative is that this cat is. He's a thug. He's a thug. You know what I mean?
That's the narrative.
But he's never been in a crime. He's never had a crazy record. He's never, you know what I mean? Like he is that, and then only the time that he gets locked up was when going to receive some money that his boy said he had for him. And that's literally what happened. You know what I mean?
Literally.
I've never been in no shit, never got no shit, never went to. Now me, yes. I told my bro, I was like, you know what, bro? This is crazy, because I was the one getting locked up in juvenile hall and shit. You know what I mean? Socking people out, running up on people in the streets and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was the total opposite. Like, I was on some wild, even though I was playing drums and I was doing all this stuff, but I was still doing crazy stuff in the streets or whatever. You know what I mean? I was just busy. I was just a busybody. And like, I can see a person like myself, them saying, you know what? There's history on this guy. You get what I mean? I can see that. I can give them that, right? Because they can fight that. Even though, yes, people can change, but you know how people use your history to determine who you are, right?
That's your audio.
If we're going to use his history to determine who he is, right? Well, this is the only thing. Other than that, it shows that he was a great kid.
Now, I could speak to that as well. You know, even though we did grow up in some fucked up parts of LA, South Central Watts, we were sheltered in a sense that I come from a 2-parent household. My mother was extremely religious. Extremely religious. So we kind of had a buffer around us. Kenny grew up going to church.
Yeah.
Kenny grew up going to church singing hymns, you know, he wasn't pushed to him. That's why he was a good kid. That's why he wasn't out in the streets. That's why he didn't go to juvenile hall and did all the fuckery that a lot of people in his peer group did, because he came from a different situation. So I understand exactly what you're saying, because he was, I mean, come on. I couldn't make it to 19 without a felony. I already have felonies at 18, you feel me? So, yeah, he made it to 19. No felonies, never been to jail in his life. That's saying a lot for a nigga from growing up in South Central and Watts, you know. That's saying a lot.
A lot, you know what I mean? And if anybody was wondering, Biz, do you got any felonies? To be factual, no, I don't have any felonies. But because I was able to tour and go to different countries, that's why I knew I didn't have any. Because you can't go to Canada with a felony. So that shit fucked me up. I didn't know that. But but if you looked on my history, I have hella shit. You would be like, I don't see why you don't have one. But you see hella shit because I've done some shit where I had the feds coming at me, where I had to go to court and deal with some, federal case or whatever. And that was cool. I had some dope, like there was just shit that happened that I knew that, when the motherfucker know, like, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take this one on the chin, whatever, my nigga. Fuck it. It is what it is, type shit, right? You just know you fucking up.
Right. When you know you deserve the consequence.
Right. You know what I mean? And I think that's, I don't know if that was the reason why I was able to, not so, but I tell my bro, like, damn, like, I think it was gunning for me, and you caught it. We'll start laughing and shit.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh at dark comedy, we love dark comedy. So we'll laugh at shit like that or whatever the case may be. It just helps ease the pressure. It just helps ease the moment and ease the fucking shit that we going through. You know what I mean? We're able to laugh about it and crack jokes about it. I think that's the best thing, that keep us going. You know what I mean? And I think, oh yeah. What's up, Mama Anita? How are you?
Hey, right there, that's King's mom, y'all.
Hey. He said, as for me, I don't have any felonies, but I need to travel more to see and understand different cultures of the world. Also, I must explore the feminine dynamics too. Yes, my guy. Yes, my guy. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And myself, I have 3 felonies. You feel me? I got 3 of them mugs. Only the higher power kept me out of prison. I done did my share of county time, but I ain't never went that way. I ain't never went that way to the pen, and I'm grateful for that. But Michelle Alexander has a really good book. Like you said, you can't travel outside the United States to a plethora of countries if you are convicted of a felony in the United States. She has a good book called The New Jim Crow. So what they did, they changed the criteria from the Jim Crow laws, because in Jim Crow there was a lot of things black men couldn't do. We couldn't own a firearm. There was places we couldn't go, shit we couldn't do. Once Jim Crow ended, they started using the judicial system as the new Jim Crow. So now, me with the felony, I'm not allowed to own a firearm. Just like a nigga back in the 60s who was going through Jim Crow. I'm not allowed to go to certain places, just like a nigga in the 60s who was going through Jim Crow. I'm put in the exact same situation. But I'm also put in situations where it's so easy to get a felony. I got a felony for receiving stolen property over $500.
Wow.
My first felony, receiving stolen property over. I only did 40 fucking days in jail, and slapped me with a felony because they don't really care about the jail time. They want your life. They want your life.
Right.
And they got mine. They put me in a lot of compromising situations. Even though I'm glad it happened because it gave me. I'll probably be some square somewhere sitting in the office or some shit. Like I'm glad everything happened the way it happened because it gave me the perspective that I have today, and I'm proud of the man that I've become.
Yeah. Hey man, shit. Hey,
Salute.
some of the shit I did, I wouldn't. Hey, you know what I mean? Hey, Unc, salute. Right, salute, Unc.
Salute.
After a while, I don't mind my son being the square, staying out of stuff.
Right,
as long as you know how to chunk them, as long as you know how to, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of don't mind my son like staying out of the ranks. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's aspects to it that are admirable in today's situation, but just to get along, to go along, that ain't never been me, and I wouldn't want that for my son either. My son right there, and I wouldn't want him to be that. I want him to be able to think. I don't want him to just fall in some status quo and sit behind a fucking cubicle and using somebody else's brain. I want him to be able to think cognitively and move a certain way in this society and understand the society that he lives in.
Right, and just like you said,
and try to affect change knowing those things.
Right. And just like you said, going through those things made you the man you were proud of today. But when we looking at Kenny's case, 17 years is overkill. Now you done went from thinking about what you did wrong, saying, okay, I would have this different, did this different. Okay, I'm a changed man. So now so many years that went past, now it went from I'm analyzing what I could have did right and what I did wrong to now I'm being tortured. This is torture now. Now my mental health is declining. Now, and my family's passing away. My family getting older. My mama getting older. So now it went from a discipline for a mistake he made unwillingly. So basically, you told him, "Hey, you should have took that bullet. You should have took that bullet instead of moving that body." That's basically what they're saying. So now, instead of getting a lesson out of this,
that's what I kind of was thinking too, because I was thinking they were saying that too when bro was telling me about it. He was like, "Yeah, they were telling me I could have jumped out the window. I damn near could have threw the gun out, and all this way." They were just saying in this appeal, and I'm like, "Well, goddamn, they rather for you to just take a damn bullet, huh?" Like
right.
they rather for you to say like it just at least that's just one less nigga we gotta
Right.
deal
So
with.
it went from discipline.
I guess that's just one less nigga we got to deal with.
Right. So I feel like it went from discipline to torture to now you're not analyzing what you did wrong. Now you're like, they doing me wrong. See, if he had did like maybe 10 years, he would have had time to analyze, okay, damn, I did make that mistake. Even though I didn't want to be in that position, I made this mistake. But when you talk about, life, come on now, man. Come on. I know I don't deserve this shit. Hold on.
Yeah. Mars says, you right too. You're right. Mars says, if I have a son, I want him to work within the system and use the system to help benefit his people. Whatever he learns from the white man, he'll take it back and teach his people to excel in life.
I can agree to that on a lot of I can agree to that as long as we have a clear perspective on what success is.
Right.
Because I think our version of success is whatever the white man says success is, and that's problematic to me.
Well, and also not just whatever the white man says our success is, because you got white people's version of success and the black person's version of success. It's a gap. There's some kind of intelligence gap there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's more so of the values. It's not more so of a white or black thing. It's values that have not been instilled and passed over from another generation. If you look at white people in different generations, even back in the day with black people, we used to pass on knowledge to the younger generation. They grow up and now they giving that game to the younger generation. You don't have that no more. So you don't have that no more. You don't have older folks giving game anymore and telling you this is how the world works and behave like this within this system and you will be all right. You know,
we gave up our community after the civil rights movement. When we were supposedly included in American society, we gave up our whole community. We had entire communities. The communities had schools, grocery stores, gas stations, theaters, concert halls. Like we gave all that shit up just to supposedly be a part of his system. So that was our downfall right there. When we stopped believing in us. So we ain't got nothing to give our children except to tell them to conform with whatever the white man got going on.
Right.
And that's the situation where my son know. That's why I live in the motherfucking woods. I live in the motherfucking woods. I rely on myself. The light you see right here on me, that I produce that light from my solar panels. You feel me? The water that I get out my faucet, I collected it from rain. You feel me? I'm taking different steps because I'm a radical, like you were saying. I'm a radical. I take it to the extreme. And the extreme, what we need to be is completely self-sufficient. So like right now, if my son, if shit hit the fan and the white man flipped that switch and cut his power off and cut his water off, he know he got a place where he can come right now where his daddy got power, his daddy got water, his daddy got a garden where he grow food, he got chickens where he get eggs. You feel me? And I think until and even though what I have is on a minuscule level, until we start creating systems like that where we can where we can take control of our own narrative and control of our own communities, then we can't. We punks. I'm sorry. That is punk shit. If you gotta rely on them for everything, you gotta rely on them for everything in your fucking life.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's another thing I was talking about earlier with Biz. Like, if we know we're in a system that we do not control, that we don't have to hold the cards to, but we're in it, if you knew that, you would behave a certain way within that system, right? You would act accordingly, because you know at the end of the day you're not running this shit, so you're gonna act accordingly, and you're gonna monopolize the situation. So when he was talking about this, we're not teaching our kids to monopolize a bad situation they're in.
I can agree with that, because you can get I think our problem as black people, when we look at our leaders, the messianic leaders, when you're talking about Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all those other people, we don't factor in the mistakes that they made. Like, we don't look at the where they fucked up. We never look at where they fucked up. We always talk about their victories, which they didn't have many when we really look at our situation. But when we look at our enemy, we don't look at our enemy and say, what is the enemy doing correctly? All we do is look at them, these demons, and they doing this and they doing something right, because they got your ass under their umbrella. They doing something correct. Like, we need to be able to look at their situation and realize, hey, what are they doing correctly that we need to implement? So to his point, I can agree with certain aspects of it, but we're not going into their system with that mentality. We're going into that system just to get along. We're not bringing nothing back. We're not okay, this how they moving, and this how it's benefiting their community. How can we implement this in our community to benefit us? That's not what's happening. We just going along to get them.
Facts. Martin says, I totally agree with him. Blacks can't depend on the white man for everything. This is why culture is important. Other races knows and understand their culture, but blacks have a hard time, no identity. And I'm letting everybody get it out before I end up, like, you know what I mean? I always do it somewhere I always filter out the BS, and but I'm gonna, I mean, if y'all want to respond to that, because I mean, anybody want to respond, or
no? I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Culture in itself creates a barrier that other motherfuckers can't see. We have immersed ourselves so much in American culture that everything that black people have created, we give to America. I mean, look at all the genres of music that make billions of dollars that black people created, from blues to jazz to country to hip hop to R&B to pop, all the stuff that's out. Like, we created that shit. But we don't get a dollar. Look at the swag that they stolen from. You be watching a McDonald's commercial. They be like, this shit is lit. They be like, this Big Mac is lit. My dude, they'll be using our vernacular and everything that we create, we give to them.
Right.
So that's why we have no culture, because we have no cultural barrier.
Right. Yeah, I think
that's stopping them from taking everything we create.
Right. Yeah, that's a big problem. And so if you have no identity, then you're just going to adhere to the first thing you come across, just to have something to relate to. Because we, as human beings, we just want to find somebody or something else to relate to, something to get along with, because we're social beings. So like a young 19-year-old, you're gonna go out in the world by yourself. The first person that has a loud voice, you're gonna start picking up on that. You're gonna start taking that in. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, when we don't have identity, we don't have self-control, we don't have values, we don't have none of these things. We're just out here winging it. Like you said, we winging it.
Mm-hmm.
Just dick swinging out in this motherfucker.
Yeah, we got our pants down. We got our pants down.
What's crazy is that we do
no homo.
we do have I'm gonna say this straightforward because you guys been saying it, and I don't want to sound like I'm pushing back on anyone. We do have a culture, we do have an identity, right? We don't believe it. We don't want it. We want to be accepted like others, right? Like you don't have that with Latinos. You don't have that with Asians. You don't have that with, Arabians or Ethiopians or Pakistanians. You get what I mean?
And and if they ever do step out of their ethnic bubble to try to be like us, they can step right back into that culture. We don't have nothing to go back to.
Well, and this is agreed. That's why other races take and have the nerves to say culture, right? But we're the only ones that finds acceptism love great, right? We love to be accepted. We love to be. We're like the only race on the planet that really loves attention. We love attention so much we give 2 fucks about our identity. We love to be recognized so much that if I put on a pair of J's, I'm feeling like everybody noticed me. Nobody gives 2 fucks that you wear a pair of J's. But I look different today. I'm feeling proud today, motherfucker. I just got the new ones, and
that cost $1 to make.
Hey,
you just spent $200-300 on those.
I just got this new Birkin, right? She just got, you know what I mean? He just got this new, bust down or whatever the case may be. Like that, we find that is more valuable than just, you know what I mean? Than having an identity. We give 2 damn shits about our identity. We say we want a culture, and we like, no, we already have culture. Black folks is about culture. Well, how is your culture? It's so much their culture now, right? How can you get other people to literally dress like you, look like you, start dancing like you, right? You don't see that shit so prevalent with, you know what I mean, Asian dances or salsa, whatever the case may be.
I mean, like I was talking about with the music, when I was talking about the music industry, look at all the music industry. You don't see any other racial people propagating violence in their community.
That's a great one.
You don't see anybody else saying, "Hey, go fuck the women in my race. Fuck these bitches. Bitches ain't shit." You don't see no Asians saying that. Country stars ain't saying that about they women. They, you're sweet as cherry wine. That's how they talking to their women. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you have people at the top, like I'm saying, with different skin colors, they're pushing this music for a reason to, like you said, shape the narrative of what a black man is.
Well, what if that narrative was already there? What if the narrative was already there? They just capitalized on it, right? Don't lie. Think about it. And I don't mean to push back like that, but I'm just saying, like, let's really filter out the BS with it, right? We love us. The bullshit was already there. Motherfucker just found a way to capitalize off of.
The thing is, there's bullshit. There's bullshit. There's degeneracy in every culture. Every culture has a level of degeneracy. The problem with us is our degeneracy is under a microscope and displayed to the world.
And it's celebrated by us.
It's not only celebrated by us, but look at these shows that they put on television. Just like you said, it's the powers that be. They're out there putting them.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
We're the ones that says okay to the shit. We don't have to agree. We don't have to.
Right. We can say no.
But see, I agree to that. There are a subset of us who do say that's what it is. But I think there's more upstanding black people out there than there are niggas. There's some niggas out there. And what we need to do as black people, and it's what other cultures do, they differentiate themselves from the dregs of their society. They differentiate themselves from the derelicts in their society. We like you said, we look in ways we identify with the derelicts of our society. So it makes it look like we circling the wagon and follow along with it. But it's a lot of us that ain't with that bullshit. Just like even with the civil rights movement, we were told that during the civil rights movement that that all black people, all these black people wanted to go eat at the white lunch counters and the white man's ice is cold. Like, we was told that this is what black people wanted. But when you go back and look at the people who lived through that generation, they like, we didn't give a fuck about going to no white man's lunch counter because Joe had a fucking lunch counter down the street that we went through. You know, Leroy had a gas station that we went to. All my daddy's teachers were black people growing up. You know, we had our own community. So they have a way of pushing narratives out there like we agree with it. I don't think enough of as much of us agree with the degeneracy as they put out.
The main thing that really, you know, everybody, we always talk about it. We always got to talk about it. The crack epidemic. When they move them drugs in there, this is when they really hit the black community hard.
Right, because what I'm saying is, when we go to the identity part, you're right. They hit it. They fucked us off. A lot of them. I mean, shit. My mom is a product of that shit. You know what I mean? My grandma's a product of that shit. Right? So I get it. But what I'm saying is, we accepted a lot of it in a sense to where, like, we didn't give two fucks about our identity. Check this out. In the Bible, it says that these Hebrew Israelite people will start praising other gods, right? And because they praise other gods, they will lose the blessing or the covering of the Elohim, right? Now, what culture on this fucking planet that praises other gods other than their own? Okay, check this out. And the Bible also says that these people will lose their they will be stripped of their kids. I mean, you know, you will be put in harlots, you know, you won't have enough money to even buy back your child. You know, the old would be beheaded and the babies would be taken. You know what I mean? What family or group of people on this fucking planet that went through that?
Right.
Okay, well, fuck it. They say that you will be given bywords and by names. That you will be given names that you don't understand. You will be given another motherfucking language. You get what I mean? What people on the planet was given a language you don't know what their original language was?
Right, black and brown people.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Whether we like it or not, I'm not saying that people like, well, you said we Hebrew Israelites. No, I'm just saying, look at the comparison, people. We have an identity. We just choose not to obey the fucking identity.
Right.
I mean, it's even in the great book. It says, because you don't obey, you will be literally going to tarnishment. You will literally keep going through some bullshit because you don't hearken unto the voice. You don't really understand what type of people you are. You are a very magnetic type of people. You are the top people on the fucking planet. You have morals. You have dignity. You have integrity. You have empowerment. You empower the earth. Nigga, everybody don't even dance different until they see you dance different. You know what I mean? Everybody don't even dress different until they see you dress different. They don't play different until they see you play different.
Right.
How is it the fact that we're the ones that set the bar in every motherfucking thing? Think about it. As if, like, we're fucking up hockey now. You know, there's a black cat that's winning in hockey now. He's just stupid. Motocross. I'm talking about shit that they wouldn't think black people would be a part of. For some reason, we are that, but we choose not to hearken. I'm not saying people like to tune out. I'm like, oh, he's saying we're those old people, and he sound like one of those Hebrew Israelites. Right. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to sound like that. Right? I'm just telling you, when you look at the comparison, it's literally a history book that's telling the lives of these people. And they use this book as a religion across the fucking earth. Where if anybody know about history, in 70 AD, when Rome conquered motherfucking Jerusalem, they took all the scrolls. Then they took the scrolls to build their own little blase, and they spread it, the Christianity gospel across the earth. That was the whole point of the Spanish Crusader. The whole Spanish Inquisition was literally about spreading that red cross across this motherfucker with blood on it. And they use this great knowledge from these people to say that this is the reason why. If people know about Spain, Spain was really, they loved the Greeks. Matter of fact, Greeks are the Spaniards. Fuck it. Right? Zeus. When I used to hear my homeboy, my little Latin homeboy, hey Zeus. It's Jesus. Right? I ended up starting getting into etymology. I love etymology. Right? I love breaking down words and what they come from and the Greek meaning, Hebrew meaning, right? And I looked up and the word hey Zeus means hail Zeus. Like, we all know about Zeus. And if anybody know about Zeus, Zeus was not the most nice person on the motherfucking planet. This motherfucker was treacherous. He said, my name would reign for thousands of years from now. Right? So this guy speed up in time. This guy named Constantine loved this motherfucker named Zeus. But then he loved the Christ story. He loved this. He was hearing about this man named Jesus or Yehoshua, we like to say. Right? Joshua was technically because the letter J wasn't invented, blah, blah, blah. Right? But Yehoshua, he's like, man, I like this about this guy. We're going to call ourselves Jesus Christ. He called himself Jesus Christ, and that's the painter that people see, which is Caesar Borgia, right? Which is the son of, anyway. Well, Caesar Borgia was a motherfucker, right? Anybody's good to do with their own sexuality. I'm not knocking anybody's sexuality. It's great to do with your own sexuality. Right? But to be martyred as the Jesus Christ in every black church on this planet, you start looking at things a little bit different. Right? And we don't understand that. It said that we would praise them for years. I hear black people talking about taxes. I want a refund. Right? I want to get a refund on my check and da. I was like, well, shit, if you know about anything about the good book does say, hey, it's good to pay your taxes in the land that you're in bondage of. Shit.
It also says obey the rules of the land.
Of that land. So they see no fault in you.
Right.
Well, what did what's his name? Pompous? The one that was gave the order to take out Jesus or whatever. Anyway, he said, I see no fault in this man. I see no fault in this man.
Right.
Pontius Pilate.
Thank you. Right? He said, I see no fault in this man. But who the motherfuckers that said, kill him! No, kill him! Who was those? Who were they?
His own people.
His own motherfucker. Come on, man. So, I don't know. You let me know what race on this planet that acts like that.
Right.
What race on this planet that acts like that?
Right.
I'll wait.
Black people. It's black people.
No. I mean, I get what you're saying, but going back to the original point.
OJ,
even when it comes to the as far as the microscope, just like I said, all the fuckery is going on in all these communities. They got degenerates. They got look at the Chinese mafia. Look at what the Italian mafia was doing back in the day. You know that we a lot of black people model their shit off. Like this. Everything is different when you're under a fucking microscope. The thing is, our degeneracy is pointed at. It's like when we doing good, they don't put that under the microscope. They don't bring that to the forefront. You know, they only bring the degeneracy. So by proxy, we look at each other like, yeah, that is us, because that's the only part of us we've been shown.
I think to tell some people that when people ask me, do you believe in heaven, in hell? And I say, okay, cool, let's go there. You want to go down that fucking rabbit hole? Let's go there. Right? I ain't saying I'm a motherfucking scholar, but I spend a lot of time with a lot of people across this fucking planet. Right? And I've heard many people tell me a bunch of shit, and it just helped me seek out the bullshit, right? And they would tell me, do you believe in the gates? I'm like, yeah, cool, yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you understand that there's 12 of them motherfuckers, right? And they'd be like, oh no, there's the gate that everyone's gonna go through, and God is gonna judge you. I say, well, there's 12. There's 12, right?
And is that coming from the Muslim religion?
No, that's in the Holy Biblia.
It's in the Bible. Well, okay, where's that at? I'm not knowledgeable.
Revelations.
Revelations. It says
There's
12 gates.
There's 12.
Okay.
And you know those 12 represents the 12 tribes. Now, which one are you going through? I always tell people, which one are you going through? Now, people always tell me, hey, no, I don't believe that. I believe that one gate and everybody's welcome. And blah, 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 blah. I go, okay, great. Well, then in Obadiah, just to kind of turn this a little bit, just to kind of show you that it's not as so sweet and fancy as you think. In Obadiah, this Jesus guy that people talk about a lot, he talks about coming down and slaying Edomites. And do anybody know what the fucking etymology on the Edomites is? Right? That's a whole nother subject, but I'm just saying. We
can go down that another day.
It's not as fancy as we think, you know. It's not as so fancy, and you know what I mean. Like they make Jesus or Yahushua to make him out to be like a soft, sensitive dude. And if you read the Biblia, it says that this guy was very nice. He was a carpenter. Any dude who's a carpenter got guns. He was tall, right? He, you know what I mean. And when he ran up in them scrubs, tossing the tables and blah, 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 all in the Pharisee, whatever, because they was running, he said, this is not of my father's house or whatever. Y'all know the story more than I do, right? I'm just paraphrasing a little bit. Right. I'm not an expert on the story. I'm not an expert on the book. I'm just telling y'all some things that shot out to me that made me look at who these people were. We're the only ones on this planet that can't draw back to an identity. We're the only ones.
And the Bible spoke of that.
There's a gap. There's something missing here. Oh no, Biz, those people that's living in Jerusalem now, those are the real, you know what I mean? It's like, well, damn, they have the highest rate of skin cancer. Skin cancer over now is about 80% and above. You know what I mean? There was a peace treaty that was put across. That place didn't become a state or its own country to the 1950s. So it was still being occupied in places. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, right.
Is that sometimes we don't really see, we don't want to tie it together. My whole point was to say that sometimes we don't want to tie it together because it seems so unbelievable. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not true. You talking some bullshit.
It'll be easier to not believe.
Yeah, that's not what I was taught. My mama ain't taught me that. My granddad ain't taught me, you know what I mean? And it's like, damn, my people ain't taught me that too. I had to seek it out.
Right.
And it just made sense. I mean, it's like a fucking puzzle.
No, you spitting some real, I'll give you that. Right. But I do think we need to touch on this conversation. I'm gonna have to get your info. We're gonna have to touch on this conversation on another day because I like where it's going. I'll be ask my son the conversation you having with him right now. I've had that similar conversation with him.
We add up all the time. We talking about that topic probably 48 hours.
Hey, check this out. Don't worry about it. Look, we're gonna get in the backstage. People, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. Thank y'all. We're gonna get in the backstage.
Get in the biz.
You know, we got another comment that came in. Mara says, I'm speaking of the Caucasians. Whenever the black man are completely outcast, they should collapse. Yes, we build everything. I just saw a story on how we build cell phones, we build motherfucking technology, we build lights, we build computers, we build tables. Like, you right, Mars, it will collapse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody, y'all go support that GoFundMe, man.
Yeah, hit that GoFundMe.
Y'all keep hitting in y'all prayers. Like I said, if you can donate $1, if you can donate $1, it'll help. But if you can't donate $1, leave a prayer. That'll do.
Please, guys, thank y'all so much. Like I said, anybody that donates over $100, I will send you merchandise personally from the tribe. You will get merchandise sent to you personally from the tribe.
Free shipping.
Yeah, free shipping. Yeah, I will ship it free at charge. I will pay for the shipping, so you don't worry about that. I just need you to donate. So anything over $100, I'm sending you merchandise at your choice. You may want a hoodie. You may want a cap and a shirt. You know what I mean? So I got y'all. Don't worry about it. And it's going to be official. And I'll make sure that it's, you get the whole package, the gas mask bag and the whole box. And you go get the Zoom whams. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate y'all for tuning in. We go get in the backstage and conversate a little bit. But tune in Saturday. We're going to talk about more on the case.
Yes, sir.
Bring a couple of more of the family members up here. We're gonna bring a couple of more, the brothers and sisters, where we're gonna be able to talk about it, get in depth on that. That's on Saturday. You guys are gonna see the promo of that on Instagram. Y'all make sure y'all go to the tribe on Instagram, Gasmasktribe TV on IG, and y'all can follow for more on that. Yes, Mama Anita, yes, for sure, yes. And we'll talk to you later. But thank y'all, man. Y'all have a great one. I'm gonna hit this outro so we can get in backstage. Cheers. Damn!